fascinate me.
Well, I try to always dress for you and
do
whatever I can do to make you happy.
Well, I wish you'd do that, actually. Yes. I wish you would do that. You're just a very intriguing woman. And you see, it's always fun to me because I'm in the market, and you're like the queen of the tabloids.
Oh, they just love to talk about me.
Yeah, but you seem to get a kick out of it.
Oh, I do. I get some of my best material from the tabloids because I have to keep up with what I'm doing. That's why we have to buy them. But they have what? You sell the one, I guess, about me and Carl.
Well, that's
in
the
Globe.
latest.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, see, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you mentioned, that seemed kind of serious. It said you and Carl are getting divorced.
Oh, they have us divorcing all the time. Okay. But this one, though, it said, well, I'm back on the road, first of all. After like 10 years, I have a group together called the Blue Neeks, and we're out promoting this record. Right. So in the tabloids, it says that I had asked Carl to go with me on tour this summer, and he had agreed to go because he said I was getting so old. I usually had lovers back when I was on the road, but now that I'm too old to have lovers, I wanted my husband to go for support, you know. So anyway, so it said that he was going. I wanted him to go on tour. And then he decided at the last minute he wasn't going, and I got very upset, so I'm divorcing him. But he countersued me, though, for $250 million, it says. And it said he didn't need the money because he had more money than me because he owned the Saturn plant. I don't know where they get... Seriously. But anyhow, we got such a kick out of it. He brought it home from... He'd been to the drugstore, and because he was on the road. No way I would even want him to.
He just hates it.
Yeah. My group's called the Blue Neeks, and my mama, I was showing her the name, and she was reading it, Blue. She was B-L-U-E-N-I-Q-U-S. She said, why in the world you want to call a group the Blue Eunuchs? I said, well, that's the only way Carl would let me go. I told him, there's eunuchs. But anyway, so they're always talking about us. But we're having a big time out on the road this summer.
So how long have you been married now? How many years now?
Well, we've been married 36 years on the 30th of May.
That's
a long time.
So of all...
We should get a divorce, but, you know, why bother after all this time?
Yeah, why bother?
It's such a comfort zone now.
So of all the men you've worked with in films and all that kind of stuff, is there any that were sort of tempting? Which would tempt you?
Oh, my co-stars? You know?
Sure. What'd you say? Who'd be the
well, they all tempted me.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't say I was dead. I said I was married.
Right.
But I think probably the one that tempted me the most, well, of course, Stallone. He tempted me.
Stallone.
Burt Reynolds,
Stallone, okay. Yeah. Burt Reynolds.
Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
Well, you know, she plays that great guy in her show.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, I liked her best of all. If I'd have been tempted by any, I would have chosen her. But they're all great. They're all interesting.
Now, you've had love scenes. Which one of these guys would be the best kisser? Like,
well, the best kisser for sure was Stallone. But actually, James Woods. You didn't ask me about him. He's the one.
Oh, James Woods.
Yeah, Stallone was a great kisser. He had those big, soft, sweet, smooth lips. But
really?
You wouldn't believe how James Woods can kiss. In fact, I tell him every time I see him, you know, you want to kiss, you want to do another buddy.
Oh, wow.
But seriously, it's just how some people just have a knack for kissing.
He has a knack.
Yeah,
now, see, I wouldn't have guessed Woodsy. Woodsy seems...
Yeah, he's a great kisser, though.
Really?
I bet he's a great lover, too. But when I did... no, I'm serious. I bet he is. When I did the show with Burt Reynolds, though, we did the Best Little Chicken House in Texas, and he had to wear a mustache, and he had to black it.
Yeah.
Because his beard was gray, so they had to put black in. Every time I kissed him, I was just all black all around my face. I couldn't get into knowing if he could kiss good or not, because he made me look so bad.
Oh, okay. You don't want that.
I want that.
You don't want that. And what else did I say? Oh, I saw another tabloid story about some relative or something that's a stripper or a porno star. Have you heard this one?
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Actually, there is somebody out there that I think she went even up to Dollywood and did some pictures. I don't know what she does. I don't know for sure who that is.
Okay.
But,
some sort of...
But I wouldn't doubt it. It's kin to me. She's probably wild.
Well, you got a lot of kin, right? How many? Is it you're one of 12?
Well, I'm one of 12 children. There's 6 girls and 6 boys in my family. But anyway, we all have a good time, and we're, you know, so you just... We were here last night at the House of Blues here in L.A. I had my little niece, speaking of family, Rebecca Seaver. She just turned 16.
She's cute.
Brought her out on stage last night. She was so excited. In fact, she took a picture of your car out back. So.
Oh, she got good taste.
And we got you in the hall. Okay. She's so excited.
Well, look, let's take a break. More with Dolly right after this. Be right back. Welcome back, talking with Dolly Parton. So, okay, 12 kids. Now, was your family religious? Were they, I'm thinking, you know, the South?
All those kids? People ask if we were Catholic because we had so many kids. Yeah, I thought we were just horny hillbillies.
Horny hillbillies.
But most people in the mountains have a lot of kids like that. Yeah, and a lot of them are in show business too. A lot of them work up at Dollywood and you know, sing up there. So we're very happy.
But I mean, was your dad? Was he kind of? When I think of the South, I always think of those kind of fire and brimstone kind of preacher.
Well, my dad was a very religious person. He was God-fearing, but he didn't really like getting into. You know, he just thought a lot of people were kind of at it to make money. I remember this one time, one of my favorite stories about my dad, which I lost my dad like a year and a half ago, but I think about him a lot. And I tell this story. One time, this old country preacher, there were a lot of Pentecostal preachers. My grandpa was a Pentecostal preacher, and Daddy just felt like they just, you know, was out to get the money. They wouldn't help you do nothing. They'd just come around. So this Daddy had worked real hard on this farm he'd put up, and he'd had to build a barn, had to take all these trees out, and this old preacher come around when Daddy had it looking good, and he said, hinting for money. He said, well, Mr. Parton, this sure is a nice place you and the Lord's got here. Daddy said, yeah, in this SOB when the Lord had it by himself. Like, nobody came around from the church to help him with any of it.
That's a great story.
So I love that story from my dad.
That's a great story. I love that. It's funny. And we talked about you. And you always look so great when you come on the show.
Well, thank you. I love to dress up. I never leave a rhinestone unturned.
No, really. Well, I know you're very open. You always talk about plastic surgery. So
well.
Is there? What's the latest? Is there any latest?
I haven't had any lately, but I'm thinking, I'm looking around. If I can see something, sagging, dragging, and bagging, you know.
Yeah. Well, listen. You know, any parts you get rid of, please let me know. I will take them. And you always, you know, like when you come here, I always think I'm going to catch you someday, like looking down. But you're always dressed up.
Well, I like to dress up because you never know when somebody's going to take a picture, and I don't want one of them in the tabloids.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
even around,
like
even at home.
Dolly looking awful. But I'd rather just look odd than awful.
Yeah, well, you don't look odd. You look beautiful. You look beautiful. Now,
thank you very
tell me
much.
about this title, Halos and Horns. Now,
Well,
which are you?
Which am I? Halos? That depends on the day.
Yeah.
Some days it's like I think we're all like too good to be bad and too bad to be good. So it just depends. Some days I'm halos, sometimes I'm horns, and sometimes just horny.
Yeah.
Ain't you? I think it fits us all. But I just thought it was a good title because these are like songs that kind of tell life stories, like the good and the bad. But just I think we all.
You see, you slip it in. I don't see you come and she goes, well, we're good and bad and horny. What? What? And then you see, then you're on. You see, then you're on to the next word. And I go, wait, go back to the horny.
But actually, I'm very excited about this album. This has some really good songs in it. It's got songs which kind of talks about how we stumble. The songs, the Halos and Horns, we stumble and slide, and and ask God to forgive us and take off our horns and wear halos again. But that's the title song. But there's several good songs in this, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, it's real bluegrass stuff, because, country music lately sort of, there's a lot of Vegas, there's like big orchestras in Vegas, and it's not, and this is kind of returned sort of.
It's not all bluegrass. People's been asking what kind of music this is, and I always tell them that we're just, we're just a bunch of hicks, so we kind of call our music hick hop.
Hick hop.
Is how I say, like, yeah, like, and me and the Backwoods Boys back here. P. Dolly and the Backwoods Boys.
P. Dolly and the Backwoods Boys. Well, that's cool. And you do a version of Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, I've always loved that song, and my husband loves Led Zeppelin, and so he plays this song all the time. I've heard it through the years, and I try to figure out a way to do it because I thought the melody was nice, lended itself well for that. But my band, which we'll hear later, the Blue Neeks, they're playing all over this. Okay. Little Gary Davis helped me a lot with, putting all this together in the band.
See, I was talking about this with someone today, and they didn't know what I said. Have you ever seen a Stairway to Heaven? Do you know what it refers to?
No.
Now, you see, no one knows. My mom used to take me, when I was a little kid, she would take me, like, there were only certain days that you'd see this. And the clouds would be like this. There'd be clouds, I'm serious. When the clouds were like this, like in the sky, that would be a Stairway to Heaven.
Oh,
and I saw it 3 times when I was a kid. Like from age 4 to 8, my mom would look, come, and then we would go, and she would point out the stair. So that's what I always thought it meant. But has anybody else ever heard that? Look, I'm out of my mind.
You are. But I like the story. I like that. But when I did this song, everybody was telling me I was crazy. They said, you can't be serious. You can't do Stairway to Heaven. It's going to sound more like Stairwell to Hell or something. No. But actually, it turned out good. We added a choir on it, and Robert Plant liked it. He sent several messages,
Oh, that's very cool.
And Jimmy Page, so they like it. And so I thought, well, we did it up in our own way. And so it's getting a lot of attention just because it's just different that I did it.
Well, it's great. It's just terrific. With all the the wigs and the clothes, sometimes I don't forget, but you can forget just what a great musician you are. It's just 7 Grammys. It's just wonderful. And I know you're going to sing a little bit for us, right?
Can I also say that on this cover. Annie Leibovitz, the great Annie Leibovitz that does all these great pictures.
Oh,
she came up to my Tennessee mountain home, my old home place, and this is out in the yard. But I just think she's just terrific, and she's everybody's loving this cover. So that's thanks to Annie.
Well, good. We'll take a break. We'll have some comedy, and then we'll sing a little later. Be right back with John Heffron right after this.